Hello, my faithful listeners. Creepypasta Salad here. I'm going to try to keep this as an informal sort of deal. I'm going to try to do as little editing on this recording as possible to keep it from being tedious. And this is basically just a glorified vlog without any of the visuals that you might see in an actual vlog. Just to recall points and talk about the state of my channel. And so this is just concerning the real life stuff affecting my output. So over the past year's work versus the previous year's work, I also didn't write my script for this, so I'm just reading off from some points here. I've done some branching out. I've done some more comedic style videos. I've tried to get into some more collaborative projects to perhaps increase a little bit of exposure, working with Unique SKD and AJ Pony, and of course with Lotus Moon on the Inverno in F minor project. That's still in the process of being uploaded. Unique SKD hasn't gotten back to me in a while regarding things like comic dubs, and AJ Pony's work is already over. So I'm sorry that they've been shorter, the stories. I've just not had the stamina after the series, the severing of friendship and reconnection, to the stamina to just make it through, over thousands and thousands of words for an audio reading after that. And I've also just not really had the time for it. And I'll get into an explanation of that a little bit later. I've fallen behind a little bit on the poetry readings from the literary magazines that I had in high school. I'd like to get back to those. I'd like to start reading from the people that I actually requested permission for almost a year ago to now approaching a year ago to voice for their poems, their poetry. There are a couple of videos that I made that I just haven't gotten around to uploading yet, so I will try to get those up soon. I've fallen behind a little bit on the H.P. Lovecraft readings. I really haven't been able to read out of my my anthology book yet, but one of the things with that is that all his works are public domain, so pretty much anybody can do voicing of them. It's a little bit hard for me to create a reading that is worthwhile as the readings that are already out there. So that's partly why I've been having a delay with that. I've been trying to catch up on my subscriber specials. I sadly have not been able to keep up with that. Then again, I know most of you guys are here for the audio readings as opposed to my covers, my song covers, but I tried to do a good job with those, and expect me to continue to do those, because I do like doing those, and I feel like I should express some sort of appreciation for you guys, because you guys really are what keep me going. So recent stuff, that was just an overview. Some of the recent stuff, the goings on that are going to be affecting me in the future. Last year, toward the end of last year, October, I secured an opportunity for an internship as an actuary with State Farm at their corporate headquarters in Bloomington, Illinois. And so that's what I'm going to be doing this summer. I'm going to be serving my paid internship with them. Starting late May, I believe it's like the 22nd is when I start working there, maybe 21st. The date's not very, very clear in my mind, but that's obviously going to be taking up a bit of time for me over the next, over the summer months. I'll be back in August, but before too long, I'll be back into school. Over the past, I've been still attending university. I have at least one semester to go. I could, in theory, graduate next semester if I manage to take all of the classes that I need and want. Excuse me, but I would like to stick around, possibly, to take some classes that are in stuff that is still relevant to the actuarial field, but isn't necessarily required for my major. Things in dealing with programming in R, and some predictive analytics stuff that that is relevant and interesting to me. Speaking of which, I've been taking 5 classes for the first half of this semester. I've been taking all 5 of my classes have been outside of my major, dealing with data analytics, which very much complements actuarial science, but is a bit different, is a bit more on the computer side of things. And I've been taking 3 night classes. I'm not used to taking 3 night classes. I'm not used to taking any night classes. I like to have my classes start fairly early in the morning. I'm used to getting up at 6 or 5:30 in the morning. This semester, I've been ending my classes at 10 o'clock. My night classes end at 10 o'clock and getting to bed around 2 and getting up around 10 and later if I can in order to catch up on my sleep. My classes... Some of them have been good, some of them haven't. There are obviously classes that they incorporate there that are not wholly relevant to me as an actuarial science major, but are also just kind of filler classes that the university is making money off of by offering as part of the minor for that. But at the same time, I've been learning some very, very good things as well that will help complement my skills and give me a competitive edge in terms of the actuarial workforce competition type deal. At the same time, that's left very little time for me to do readings, and on top of that, I've been in a production of a series of plays called 45 Plays for 45 Presidents at my university. I decided to take on that toward the end of winter last year. Well, not last year, but the toward the end of December is when I auditioned for it, and I decided to stay with the production. And although it was a good experience for me, and it was good time acting and being able to be in the theater community again, I don't feel it was fully worth my time. I spent a lot of time at the rehearsals and practices doing what was essentially, sitting around and waiting for things to start up. I was part of an ensemble cast for that, so I wasn't playing a whole lot of prominent roles, which, when I'm doing these readings, I'm doing them for... I'm playing all of the characters, all the principal characters, all the minor characters when I'm voicing them all myself. So it was nice to get that experience again, but at the same time, I was partly staying with it because when you start into a production, you tend to stick with it. It's very much in bad taste to go to an audition, say you want to be in the play, and then stick with the play for a month and say, just when crunch time is coming around and people, are basically supposed to have their lines memorized and all of that, to put the burden on the rest of the cast for really what you were supposed to be responsible for in the first place. At the same time, I've met some very good people with that. The director herself, actually, her son, is a brony, is the very first brony that I've met in real life since high school. And that was definitely a nice experience. I'm in contact with him on Facebook. I can't wait to interact with him some more. Yeah, that's sucked a lot of time out of my schedule after, being a little bit freer with the actuarial classes. I could work a bit more on my own schedule, and the work was always relevant to me, and was always intuitive for me to do. Doing stuff like coding and things like that is not something that I am particularly familiar with doing because I haven't done that. And some of my data analytics classes really did concern that. As for the future, for some future works that I'm planning on working on, there's at least one more H.P. Lovecraft story I really want to voice. I brought it with me for my spring break. I'm currently on spring break right now. That's the reason why I'm able to record this. There's a story by the Dobermans that I engaged to read. He was the guy behind... My Final Confession, Vengeance. He's also the guy who's been giving me a lot of advice towards what should I select to do, how should I go about conducting things on my channel. and has really been an invaluable part of this process, has recommended me several of the stories that I've been voicing over the past few months, because I've been having such a hard time searching for these stories myself with how the time has been, and he really seems he's like the other half of this series of productions that is my channel and my videos. And at the same time, there's also a request by a user named Flutterbouse. He now goes by Dandareshy on FemFiction. He requested if I could do an audio reading of one of his works, but there were a couple of other stories, like Bendy requested that I voice Equestria, the Imperial Legion in Equestria, and there were a few other things that I was engaged to read before they made that request. I totally missed the month of love, and this guy mostly does comedy fics and romance and stuff, and I really wanted to do one of their stories then, but he's been inactive for a while, so I didn't really get to interact with him on that, really get things rolling. And since romance is really not my thing and comedy is not really my thing, and I want to do a good reading for them if they truly plan on having me do a reading for them, I'd like their input as to what they would like me to voice. So there's this kind of thing lurking at the bottom of all of this, and that is the time and what it's really worth to me to do these readings. I mentioned it probably in my last State of the Channel address that it's just been very difficult to work up the motivation for some of the, doing these readings, because I'm starting to come to realize just how valuable my time is, and how precious my free time is, how little of it I tend to have, what really is it worth to me. I spent a lot of time during that play when I was, just sitting out waiting for things to happen, contemplating about what I could do with my time, and what is my time really worth it to me. It's not that there's not a whole lot that I dislike about doing these audio readings, but the recording is the fun aspect of it. I don't really enjoy doing the copious amounts of editing that I need to do, hence why I'm trying to make this as relevant, keep talking on things that are as relevant as possible and make as few mistakes as possible in this recording, because I just don't want to go through the process of editing for it. And because once I start editing for something, I have to make it perfect. That's one of the things, is how do I maintain my quality, is that my just sheer compulsion to make things exactly as I intend them to be heard. And that constitutes the majority of the time that I spend on these readings as well. And I think that's one of the things that sets apart the quality of my recordings from other channels, from other types of readers. But to go through all of that extra effort, I have to be justified in doing it. And while I enjoy a lot of the support that the whole bunch of support that you guys give to me, with liking my videos, with commenting on my videos, with letting me know, just what I should do, all of that input is very, very valuable to me. But I realize that there are other opportunities for my time, and the stress and time and tedium that I go through trying to put together these readings, it really, really is the main part of what has been keeping me from doing these readings. I spent, I hate to admit this, but I spent about 90 hours playing a video game on my computer over the course of the past semester, and I felt like I didn't have a whole lot of time on my hands last semester, but I was playing that game. It was Stalker: Shadow of Chernobyl. Really enjoyed that game. Just finished it the other night, Saturday night. Spent a bit of time actually trying to finish up that game. But anyway, I spent over 90 hours over the past half of a semester playing that game, and just to unwind. And the thing is about the audio readings, I have to create an environment that is quiet, and when I'm on a university campus, even trying to record in my room where there's a shuttle outside that you hear every 30 minutes, that the beep, 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 beep sound it makes whenever it goes into reverse, which it always does. The sounds of planes flying overhead, and the sound of other people in the dorm, of course, is very difficult to tune out using the software that I use, and I cannot... It's very difficult to... I have to go to great lengths to be able to record and also have those sounds not be heard by the microphone. And the whole process of it is a bit of work, and I can't just audio read and have it turn out as well as I find to be presentable for my channel without making it work, without turning it into work. That doesn't allow me to unwind the way that a video game would. That's a big thing. You also notice that I have a very large tendency to pause and speak very slowly whenever I'm just trying to talk off of my head, which is usually why I keep a script. And why I do these audio readings, because I can and have to do so much editing, because I have the tendency to stumble, despite all of the theatrical training and experience and doing these readings that I have. So I'm going to be opening up voice commissions soon. That's basically what I'm getting at. It's not going to be... I'll detail it all in a video that's going to be coming up pretty soon. The thing is, this week, I'm fairly free, but I have a few medical appointments now that I'm home that I have to go to. There are arrangements that I need to make in order to actually be able to live in Bloomington, Illinois, while I am serving out my internship this summer. So we're getting a bunch of major responsibilities out of the way while I am back home, as well as trying to pick up my audio readings. Oh yeah, another big thing is that I'm going to be trying to take an actuarial exam over in April. And it's exam MLC. That's a 400-hour study time commitment. They say you should take 100 hours for each hour of exam time, so it's a 4-hour exam, and I will be... It's the first actuarial exam that I will be taking that isn't just multiple choice, that it has a written portion as well, so I really have to have a good mastery over the material for that course. And that's the thing, is that I can study for actuarial exams pretty much at any time, any day that I want to, and that is going to be sort of the basis of the justification for why I'm opening up voice commissions. The other thing is that if you wave $1 in front of my face to do something, I feel much more compulsion to go through the tedium of whatever it may be. To get through to the end of it. And it's not going to be like a subscription service, because I know that my upload frequency is not where it would need to be in order to be able to provide rewards, and I can't I can't do a whole lot else other than doing these audio readings. I'm not a very good visual artist. I can't do your homework for you, because that's plagiarism. I can't write fanfics for people, you know. I think Bob Scribbler does that if you get to a certain level for her. I want mine to be commission based. I want to ultimately, the objective is to feel like I'm really, that there's a guarantee for doing certain types of content on my channel, as well as provide an opportunity for you guys to be really contributing to this process, and to like make available the opportunity to get me to voice things that I wouldn't normally voice. Say, you know, I'm not too inclined to do romance stuff. I'm not inclined to do readings of stuff that other people have done. I have reasons for doing that, and that's because I don't feel that people would actually like me doing that. But if you feel that I would do well at that, then yeah, you would be one person that feels that I could be doing that well, and perhaps you would offer me something to guarantee that I would do that for you, because I need to guarantee that going through all of the tedium of that to upload the reading to YouTube and have it be a good quality reading for what I'm able to do, there needs to be some guarantee, because so far all I'm going on is my whenever I feel desperate to do an audio reading, and when I feel that I'm disappointing you guys by not uploading. That's the major thing that really keeps me going with this. Is I am extremely afraid of disappointing people. If I do something that would disappoint you guys, that would personally hurt me a lot. And I don't want to do that unless unless there's something guaranteed in it for me. And I don't want to disappoint like a portion of you guys who don't want to see that type of content, who don't want to hear that type of content, who are just here for, like, say, the horrors that I do and the tragedies that I do. You probably don't want to hear me, say, voice something that is lewd, but there are some people who may, and I would like for that opportunity to be available to them, if there's something guaranteed in it for me. And I know that sort of thing, like, really does capture a lot of viewership. There's no denying that. My reading for Big Pinkie Pie Warms You Up has an obscene amount of viewership for how low the nature of the work is, and I don't like to give up on my principles unless there is something guaranteed in it for me. And I feel like going forward, there are things that you have to do as an artist that will get your name out there. That I've been basically going through this in a process of doing what I want before doing what I need to do in order to get the following that I need in order to do what I want. That my whole purpose of this channel was to to do readings of stuff that I really like, and also to partly get my name out there, because voice acting is very much something that I would love to do, even though I'm not professionally trained for it yet. It's something that I would really personally love to do. This channel is kind of like my start, and I'm trying to get my start doing that. That's part of the reason why I'm so focused on things like the analytics for my channel, how well my videos are doing, and things like that. I guess I should rephrase that. I'm not willing to pander unless there's something guaranteed in it for me. That is the big thing. As I said, I will put out a video for that later, detailing all of the information for that I have in mind. I'm also really looking to see what you guys are looking to input regarding that. Of course, I intend to explain everything much more concisely there. As I said, it would be a commission base, but it wouldn't necessarily be all. It wouldn't have to always be story readings or things like that. I was planning on incorporating a thing with like vocal pops, and also I was considering making part of it a tip-based system. Just like you could chuck a couple of like digital currency my way if you really wanted to, just for doing what I do. If you really wanted to show your support. Another thing about that was I really wanted to keep a system where you would put toward a commission for something that I was recording for. If you gave me a tip or something, that I would specifically use those funds for certain things, like doing stuff to improve my voice acting ability. I know there's lynda.com. It has professionally made tutorials and may have stuff related to my type of video format, and or if you wanted me to just put things towards survival, or toward my my actuarial development, because of course once I'm done with all of my actuarial exams and I become fully accredited as an actuary, then I'll obviously have much more time on my hands. things like better hardware, new software. I don't incorporate a lot of audio sound effects because I don't have an audio sound effects library. I'd love to have one, but I don't. I don't do this often enough to justify a purchase of that in my mind, and trying to find the free stuff online that actually really fits what I'm currently trying to voice is extremely difficult, time-consuming, and just not worth it. I really noticed that this video has been really rambly. I really apologize for that. But I think it gives you the idea of what's been going on in my life and what's going on in my mind as the content creator, as the man behind the mic. Gives you a little bit of a forecast into the future. I'm still going to keep trying to do readings regardless if I get any commissions, of course. And if you guys want to talk about anything in particular that I mentioned in this video, I'll go ahead and discuss that with you in the comments section or wherever I post this, because I'll probably post this on FimFiction at least. But yeah, thanks for listening to me for about half an hour, and I appreciate your interest and your sticking with me for all this time. I intend to keep things going into the future with this. I don't intend on ever stopping, even though I might mention how my time is extremely valuable to me and I have all these alternatives. This truly is something that I really like to do, and I wouldn't have started this if I didn't have this sort of passion for it. I just would like to be able to upload things a lot more often, and commissions, I feel, is going to be a way of motivating me to do so going into the future, because I'll be working at a job someday and studying at the same time, so it'll be a lot different then. Thank you for your time. Happy listening, friends.